And this is Mission Control Houston, a very busy day for the three-person crew aboard the International Space Station today, now commanded by Chris Hadfield, the Canadian Space Agency's first commander of the International Research Outpost. On board with him are Tom Marshburn of NASA and Roman Romanenko of the Russian Federal Space Agency. The trio has been working on a variety of different activities today. They're adjusting to the smaller crew size after the departure of previous Commander Kevin Ford and his Russian colleagues Oleg Novitsky and Evgeny Tarelkin, who returned home this weekend with a landing on the Kazakh steppe. Kevin Ford already back home in Houston and reportedly doing very well after his more than 4 months in space, and his crewmates are back in Moscow. It was a very cold and wintry time on the Kazakh steppe for the landing. Several of the helicopters that were part of the search and recovery group were not able to fly out to the landing site, and so there was just minimal activity to recover the crew, but they did very well in the landing, and all were healthy after they're extracted. The capsule landed in a normal vertical condition, and the crew was extricated as planned. Today, the crew is working on a variety of different experiments on board the space station. Hadfield has been reinstalling a computer that's used for the material science research rack after a software upgrade. He's also been changing out samples on the coarsening in solid liquid mixtures 2 experiment, and that's an experiment in which small particles shrink by losing atoms to larger particles, and that creates larger particles that grow or coarsen within a liquid matrix of lead and tin. Study is trying to define mechanisms and rates of how fast things coarsen that would be useful for anything from turbine blades to dental fillings to aluminum alloys. Hadfield also copying images and installing new samples in the binary colloid test experiment that looks at how things that are mixtures of solids and liquids behave in the microgravity environment. Tom Marshburn has been swapping out some cartridges with the Hikari experiment on board the space station. The Hikari experiment is a Japanese experiment, and it looks at the growth of homogeneous crystals in microgravity, and is hoping to learn some things about that kind of growth that will help improve solar cells and semiconductors on the ground. Marshburn also is stowing away some of the hardware from the Medaka fish experiment. Much of that is coming back on the Dragon spacecraft when it returns home at the end of the week. Roman Romanenko working on removing a controller panel for the automated transfer vehicle. That's the European Space Agency's cargo vehicle, and he's doing that work in the Zvezda service module. And all the crew members are going to be conducting a conference with the future crew members for upcoming Expedition 36, Karen Nyberg, Fyodor Yurshkin, and Luca Parmitano. We've had one of our 2 public affairs events today. The second will be the Expedition 35 in-flight event with the popular band 30 Seconds to Mars. That's coming up at 12:10 p.m. Central Time. And over the coming week, all the crew members will be involved in final stowage of cargo to be returned to Earth on the Dragon cargo spacecraft. Stowage is about 54% complete now, and Dragon is scheduled to be robotically unberthed at 5:20 a.m. Central Time on March 25, and then re-enter the Earth atmosphere and splash down the Pacific Ocean for recovery and return of those samples and other equipment to the Earth from on board the International Space Station. All systems on the space station working very well as the crew continues through its day, and flight controllers on the ground work on a periodic test of the efficiency of the solar array cells. This is Mission Control Houston.